All right, we all ready, folks? Everyone good to go? All right. I'm going to call this meeting of the Woburn School Committee to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Will the superintendent please call the rolls?
Mr. Austin.
Present.
Ms. Chisholm.
Here.
Ms. Cormier.
Present.
Ms. Crowley.
Present.
Mr. Mulrennan.
Present.
Ms. Wetzel.
Present.
Mr. Lipset.
Present. All right, we have approval of minutes from January 9th, 2024. Motion approved.
Motion approved. To approve. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. We have with us our City Council liaison, Mr. Charles Viola. Do you have an update for us tonight? Thank you very much for joining us. Appreciate it. And we do not have our student rep tonight, so we can go right into reports and presentations of the superintendent and staff.
No public
I think we
comment?
are.
No public comment? Nobody in the
Oh,
audience?
God, sorry. Yes, there is public comment. There we go. Yes, so we'll open the floor to public comment now. Is there anyone who wishes to speak for public comment in the audience? All right, seeing no one. So we will now go to the... Did I miss something else?
Nope.
Okay, good. So we will go to the reports and presentations of superintendent and staff. And first up is our family and community engagement.
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion that we hear food service update first before family and community engagement.
I'll second that.
Okay. Any discussion on that? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Come on.
No sample.
Hi, guys.
So Lisa Tumayan is our Director of Food Service and is been with us for quite a while.
25 years,
And so part of...
just saying.
So just to provide an overview of the relationship that we have with...
Yep. So I haven't seen you guys. Hi, I'm Lisa. Mary Ann's over there that decided not to join me over here in the table. And I know we have a lot of new school committee members, so welcome. And I hope you love our program and what we do, and we try our best. So let us know any feedback that you hear from us. Okay, next slide, please. Oh, back to that slide. 25 years. Just saying. 25 years. 3 kids through high school, 3 kids through college, and 2 engagements.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
We're paying you too much.
And you're only 30. How does that
Oh,
work?
right? That's what I keep asking myself. Okay, so we all know that we got free lunch this year. Can I just kind of walk and talk?
Yep.
Does anybody mind? 'Cause I don't like this. Okay. So we got free lunch this year, which is great. It's been amazing. I will tell you that the stigmatization of free and reduced lunch is gone since COVID. This is the year that we really saw it this year. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Free lunch, yep. We see brown bags coming through getting a second lunch, that the kids are bringing lunch from home and they're getting a second lunch with us. So we know it's working. However, it could come to a very big halt quickly. Maura Haley is going through her budget right now. We're waiting to hear if we're going to continue the free lunch or not. Next slide, please. A lot of things that we take advantage of that I don't think any of you guys realize what we do. This is our federal, state, and local commodity or entitlement from the state. So this year we got $121,000 for brown box. You think brown box, you think raisins, mixed fruit, diced chicken, all free from the government. We took $121,000 of that, turned it to brown box. Processing commitment, $52,000. What this does, it takes our cheese and turns it into Land O'Lakes. It takes our chicken, turns it into Tyson. It takes our turkey, turns it into Jenny O. So we're getting top of the line product from a product that we're getting from free from the government, and we're having our house, Cisco, where we get all our food from, divert that chicken or that cheese into a Tyson product. So we're saving $52,000. So when I buy a case of chicken nuggets from Cisco, it could be $52 a case. I'm paying $22, if that. Sometimes it's free. Chicken patties, can come back free to me. That's how much of allotment that we get from the government. The DOD commitment is our fresh fruits and vegetables. Believe it or not, it is the Department of Defense that allows this. And we get an abundance of $67,000 of free fruit and vegetables every week for the entire year. So we just keep ordering and ordering and ordering. It's all free. One thing I will say, if you go to our schools now, you will see this all on their lines every single day. So today I'm doing security at the high school, and I'm standing, I haven't been out there in a bit, and I'm just, the first thing when you walk into the high school CAF, you'll see produce bar set up. It's fruits and vegetables, all wrapped, individually wrapped. The line, that's where it starts, at the fruits and vegetables. And then they come around to what they can choose. So we know it's working, we love it. Next slide. This is where, if free lunch doesn't happen with Maura Haley in the state this year, we have applied. We're in our second year of Shamrock and our first year of Woburn High School being CEP. And what that means is a community eligibility, I hate that word, program. And what it does, it takes any student in Woburn that is getting government assistance of any type. It's automatically saying they're free kids. What they do in the state level, they're trying to get the onus off the state and onto the federal. CEP is federally run. So they want to take the free lunch that we're getting now from Maura Healy and saying, apply for CEP, let your students at these schools get free lunch, and the government will pay for it. It's not coming out of the state tax dollar. So we were told that last 2 years, Shamrock was eligible. We applied, they became CEP, meaning any student that goes in there, they get free lunch or breakfast. It's all free. Federal's paying for it. We just did it with Woburn High School this year. They were now approved. So next year, well, actually, they just started in December, they are all free. Any kid that goes to school at the Shamrock or Woburn High School are automatically free. We're hoping by April, because of the influx of enrollment that we're seeing, the diversity of what we're seeing, we're going to throw this again out in April. I don't see why the numbers that are coming in right now, the White, the Alta Vista, the Goodyear, schools like that that aren't hitting. So what they did, they were at 47%. All right, I'm going to back up. You take each individual school at its district level. So Shamrock was looked at differently. Shamrock said, what did you reach? They reached the 47.5 2 years ago. They got it. This year, they dropped it to 25%. Woburn High School got it. Come April, we're now going to throw everybody in the bucket, which we did in December, but only December High School got it. In April, we're going to do it again, throw them all in there and see who comes out. And hopefully, assuming the White, the Alta Vista, the Goodyear, schools like that are going to, Kennedy will now become CEP eligible, that we don't have to depend on free lunch. So it's taking it off the state and throwing it onto the government. So that, any questions about that?
Yes.
Yes.
Does that mean that right now the federal government is paying for school lunch at the Shamrock and the high school?
Yes,
Okay. And so then the other schools are still funded by the state?
correct.
Okay. So if there's a student that's not eligible at the Shamrock,
Good question.
that child gets a free lunch.
Correct.
But at the Harold Wyman,
If that student is that family,
yes.
they don't. Looking into to clarify that question, I had the same question the other
Yeah,
day.
it's-
That's what I need to know, because if you're directly certified right now,
Yeah.
without CEP,
Yeah.
you're directly certified, you're at the high school, every child in that household is free,
Yeah.
whether they go to the Alta Vista, whoever.
Yeah.
Right now, CEP, I don't know if that child has to stay in that school,
Right.
or it could be siblings in other
Yeah.
schools. So you have a kid in high school, middle school, and an elementary. Are the middle and elementary CEP? I think they are, but I got to get clarification on that.
But if you're a family at the Shamrock that wouldn't be eligible for free lunch under any circumstances,
You'd be free.
you'd be free, but if But if you are a family at the Harold Wyman, that you would never be. So,
No, it's based on location.
Yeah, okay.
It's based on whatever benefits they're getting from the government.
Okay.
So if they're getting federal government assistance, they're CEP.
Okay, thank you so much.
Any
Sorry,
other questions at
Mr.
this
Chair.
point? That is quite all right. You're going to raise your hand like in my classroom. Raise your hand. Ms. Cormier.
And part of Ms. Carly's question, so they are not eligible through CEP, but currently they're getting the free lunch through the state.
Yeah.
Because.
That's
Unless she denies it this year.
Yes.
Right.
She
So we
approved
can have
it
one
for this year.
This moment.
Depending on if she denies it for
Yes.
next year, only the CEP will be free.
Yes.
Which are those two schools right there.
And it was, did you say 47.5% of the school body needs to be eligible for the CEP?
On direct cert to be eligible for CEP.
And that's
They have to be
changing?
down to 25%. Yes.
Only 25% of the student body in that building?
Yes.
Needs to be free
Huge,
lunch eligible?
huge reduction.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
But what they're trying to funnel it off the states and onto
Yes.
the federal
Yeah.
government.
And that's
So
why-
it's huge.
And that's
Yeah.
why it's important that everybody, even if they are getting free lunch currently through us, if they are eligible, everybody should be filling out the application.
No, CEP students do not have to
Not
fill out-
CEP, but the other schools, because if,
But even so, even if they fill out an application, it has nothing to do with CEP.
no,
Okay.
I agree. But just that, because then, like, if a Harold Wyman student was eligible for free lunch and didn't fill it
Yes.
out,
Yes.
the state would be paying for it. If they filled it out,
Yep.
the federal would pay for it.
It's only going to happen if we go back to paid next year.
Right. Yes, but
That's when we're going to need the applications funneling back in.
would the application that filled out now, would that be paid through the federal, like?
No,
And
that'd
not
be-
the state? The state is going to
The
put the
state's
bill
gonna pay
regardless,
for
all
it.
of them?
Yes,
Okay.
except for the CEP students.
And that's just all federal?
Correct.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Any further questions on this point?
Okay, just so you see what free lunch does to us. So keep in mind, breakfast last year, or 2022, last December, we were still standing home as if we were COVID breakfast to every student. This year, we're not. This is how many kids are taking advantage of breakfast now that didn't during COVID. It's huge. The numbers, I mean, look at lunch. And again, I have to give credit to the program. I have to give credit to my employees that do this every single day and make our food look the way it looks to entice these children to come in every single day. We were off the charts today in numbers, just by one menu item. And I'm telling you, you know, it's like any of us. We go to a restaurant, we eat with our eyes. We go to the grocery store, we eat with our eyes. And why are you putting so much money in packaging? Why are you putting so much money in wrapping? Well, you know what? Our students are savvy now. They want sushi. They want acai bowls. They want rice bowls, whatever. They're savvy. I mean, these little kids, the fruits, we can't keep up with the fruits and vegetables. I mean, that's what they're growing up on, and that's what we're giving them. Okay, next, please. Oh, I got messed up. All right. Our commitment to our people. We have one part-time employee, believe it or not, all this time. We have 41 full-time employees and 2 airmen, me and Mary Ann. We have to go by, we have to, kind of like your PD,
Yeah.
what are they called, half-day
Yeah, professional.
professional development. We have to do the same thing with our staff. We try to do it all in the first meeting we meet with, so we don't have to keep bothering people. But we go over everything from HACCP to Board of Health, to cooling, to reheating, to whatever it takes, marketing. It could be customer service. We try to get all their hours in on that one meeting. So they are all up to date, we're all up to date, and we're all trained where we're supposed to be. Don't want to bore you too much with that. Any questions about that? Our people, I gotta say, they're the best. I mean, this is just a few of the photos I can give you. There's not a holiday that I don't see a pizza, Oreo cookie, chocolate milk, something decorated, whether it be Valentine's, you know, St. Patrick's Day, whatever. That's what our people do. Well, next slide. All right, big thing we did this year. We have a huge Muslim population. We brought in halal chicken, and I will tell you, I have to give shout out to my two Muslim employees that work at the high school. They educated me a lot and made sure I brought in the right product, and they actually make it every single day to make sure it's made correctly. This is not only offered, so basically what halal chicken tenders or halal burger or halal hot dog is, it's basically blessed before it's prepared. So that's what we're getting in for these students, because we know we have a huge population. Started at the high school, went gangbusters. So, all right, let's introduce it to the middle schools, went gangbusters. It is now on the elementary menus every month, every day, that any Muslim student that needs halal chicken tenders or halal burger can get it. Any questions about that? Innovative. All right. Speaking of innovative, I mean, how many of you been to my kitchen in the high school? I welcome all of you to any of my schools. It doesn't have to be high school. Drop into the Alta Vista and have lunch. I know that you all know I'm out to bid this year. 25 years. Great work. Anyone wants to see competitors' food? Go for it. But I ask you, come see my food first. If you're going to look at competitors, at least give me the dignity to come and say, wow, that's what we're doing in Woburn, because we're doing it. And I have to say, it's not the company that's sitting in this room, it's the person, the people, the people. Every company's the same. We all do the same. They can say they're squashing tomatoes out to make ketchup. They're making the number 10 can that I'm getting. Okay? So just look at what I do, and I invite all of you to come have lunch with me. You can ask me. I'll go with you. If not, just go in on your own. Any single day, I don't care. That's how important this program is to us. Go ahead. Next slide. Acai bowls. Speaking of which, some of the new items at the elementary school. All right. You're going to think this is silly. We used to do this pack. Take the sprinkles out. Yeah, or younger pack. Call it a rainbow pack. Well, what do you get? Everybody loves it. Little sprinkles goes a long way, right? We all eat with our eyes. Sorry. Same thing with hummus. Who would have thought hummus plate would work in an elementary school? Vegetables, hummus, pretzels, they love it. Fresh fruits and vegetables. This is what I'm talking about. Fresh melons, strawberries. You name it, we have it. Okay, next. Oh, this is good. So this is my mom. School dish. So you get a nurse calling you. What are the ingredients? What are the allergens? I don't know. Come on, man. Look at the box. I don't know. Help. I don't know. Well, we know. Can you get on the Woburn site district or try to click on that link for me? Would you look at that? Oh, look at that. This is beautiful. All right, so scroll down a little bit. Oh, it's not working. Oh, it's probably because I copied and pasted from there.
Where do you want to go?
Try school menus. Oh, love that. Elementary school. So what I did, all right, stop. So what I did, this is our school. This is our school right here. Elementary, high school, middle school. Any parent can go on here. They can look at our menu. You can pull that up, Julie.
It's me.
It's mandatory.
Why do I keep looking at you? Like, she keeps looking at me. She's ignoring me. I'm like,
I'm trying to keep up with you. I'm just trying.
dear God, she's not even looking at me. Okay.
Dr. Crowley's like shaking
I'm
over
trying.
here.
The pressure is intense.
What do you want me to do again?
Look there. I am so sorry. All right, beautiful. Look at that. All right? So you got the whole menu. Any parent can print, see it, whatever they want. You can get on there.
Okay.
Not the whole thing, though. All right. Now if you can go into here again, or if you're in it still.
I don't want to.
Okay, good. Oh, this is beautiful. You guys are going to get so excited. There's school menus. Yeah, up the top. Nope.
So this isn't my daily computer, so I'm...
Yeah, man, I need an assistant.
Here, Mom, he's coming to help us.
I need a mouse.
Yeah.
All right, what do you want me to hit?
School menus, elementary. All right, go down. Look at this. It's Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
I don't even want to know.
Booyah! Now go down. Look at, all right, first of all right, calories, saturated fat, everything a nurse needs to know about diabetics. Right there at your fingertips. Scroll down.
I'm trying.
Oh.
I don't use this computer other than on this.
Swipe. 2 fingers and swipe.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. What do we got? Ingredients. A little more?
Oh.
Contains peanut butter. Contains soy. Contains eggs. My nurses love me. Right?
Yeah.
Any parent that needs anything can go right on there and it's up to you.
That's great.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Okay, back to the presentation.
Okay.
Okay, boss. I told you this was going to be one. I tried to get you to go first.
My kid loves the menus, by the way. He
Thank you.
doesn't even want me to make anything for him.
Love it. Audience in the back.
Oh,
just
see,
saying.
that's a plan. You see that?
All right, Matt, please. That's my presentation.
Yeah.
This is it. Next slide.
Okay, and this is just some silly stuff. We do ACE. You guys all know ACE. Maybe you guys don't. ACE is our mascot. Monthly, how to hydrate, how to eat protein, how to eat vegetables. Every month there's a special message going out to them. We try to participate in the limited type offerings. A lot of them are very ingredient based that I can't see bringing in a case of lime juice for a drop of lime juice, so I tend not to do that. And then just a few other things. Okay, and I think
Awesome.
All right, thank you very
Great
much.
presentation.
Do we have any questions for Mr. Mann? Ms. Cormier and then Ms. Weston.
Number one, a comment. I wrote my thesis on school lunch being free. You cannot bore me with any of this.
Okay,
This is fantastic.
beautiful.
Courtney, I'm going to take the question about allergens off my list for Wellness Committee.
There you go.
That was there. I think this is amazing. And I just really appreciate your enthusiasm.
Thank
And clearly, by this PowerPoint and everything that you're doing, it's phenomenal. And
Thank
just
you,
wanna
I
thank you.
appreciate it. And it's a passion, fortunately. 25 years, it's still going, so.
You got to feed those kids.
Yeah,
They can't learn.
that's it.
You know?
Anyone else?
Ms. Weston.
Hi, I just want to say thank you for all the hard work you do.
You're welcome.
I honestly can't believe you do it with 41 people. My undergrad's in hospitality business, and you can't run a restaurant, one restaurant
Okay.
with 41 people. So, like, kudos,
Thank you.
that's amazing.
Thanks.
And the rainbow pack, my kids love it. The sprinkles, it's the addition of the
Dance
sprinkles.
balls.
I'm like, there's a rainbow pack. Oh, we get the sprinkles. And I have a very picky eater, my oldest, and she eats the chicken nuggets and the pizza, and
Okay.
she exclusively eats the pizza at school now.
Which
So,
school?
The Goodyear.
Okay, good.
Yeah, so
Okay, good to know.
thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Very much appreciate it as a mother. So
Yeah.
thank you for your hard work.
You're welcome.
Oh, and actually one question. The ACE message that goes out to the kids.
Yep.
Is that something that goes out in health class, or how does that
You
go
won't
out?
see it. Your teachers won't see it. It's all marketing inside the classroom.
Oh.
So we do have an ACE video that goes out that I'm trying to get it. It's in a series of 12. Unfortunately, I can't break up the series, so they're working on it to break it up, to send to the health teachers. So I'll send to the principals first, and then they can send it to the teachers that want to do that lesson on hydration. It's elementary level, because he's ACE, he's a little fox. So it's all elementary level.
Got it. Thank you.
Any additional, Ms. Chisholm?
I just want to say, and I want to extend thank you to the staff that does this every single day for our kiddos. So I just want them to know that they are appreciated.
Thank you. And I do have to say, Andrew, and I just want to pipe in about that, about the negotiations. I think my staff got everything they deserved, and I appreciate that we all came together and worked on it and brought them up to a level that they belonged at. So thank you. I appreciate that. Not that I was much involved in it, but
You were there and
Yeah.
present, and I'm glad for the same thing.
good. Anything else?
Mrs. Crowe.
I'm just curious, as a school lunch expert. What effect did making lunch free for all have on the quality of the food, or what changes? did
Well,
you
it's
see as
funny
a
you
result?
asked that, because I did have a slide that I took out, and it addressed that exact message. Because what it's doing, it's allowing us to buy food that we would never buy. So we can spend more money on the fresh fruits and vegetables than we never were, because the coffer is full. You know, you're getting free reimbursement. So we're fixing refrigerators and freezers that were down for years, that we finally have the funds that were not coming to the school. Again, this has to be a self-sufficient program.
Right.
So anything I do has to go back into the program, obviously, but it's also in a good way, because you're getting premier chicken patties, you're getting premier fruits, you're getting premier, so it's allowing us to give these students a lot more than we ever would have, being on a more stricter budget. If we have to go back to paid, and financially, it's going to be a huge burden.
So we all know it's a moral issue. Making
Absolutely.
Sure, right.
Yeah.
We all get that.
Yeah.
But I didn't, till right now, maybe about 2 weeks ago, I didn't see the fiscal side of it in terms of school district running,
Yeah.
and having that availability of that
The funds.
extra bump.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's.
No, it's been huge for us to
Yeah.
just fix, you're talking about steam tables. Look at the Goodyear. I mean, how old is that? Not Goodyear, the Reeves, the Shamrock,
20 years.
right? And somebody says that to me,
Yeah.
no, it's not. It was just yesterday.
Yeah.
Well, their steam tables are destroyed. And it's funny because, any new school you build now, look at the Herald. The equipment's not what it was 20 years ago.
Yeah.
If I could take an old school and take that equipment and drop it into a new school, I would.
Yeah.
I don't want new equipment because it doesn't work. Just like our household appliances don't work. So you're just replacing and Band-Aiding it all the time now. So the fortunate thing is that we have a little bit of a buffer that we can repair all this before it gets too bad.
Thank you. I
You're welcome.
appreciate that. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Anything additional?
From the audience?
Who's running this meeting?
That there, as a mom, my child also goes to the Goodyear. There's things that I was never, like, you kind of like buy what your kids are going to eat and what they're going to love. And now my son is like, Mom, don't forget yogurt, don't forget fruit. This is something new that because he sees it at school, so now he's like bringing that. Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
Mom,
It's normal.
get this, yeah.
And now I'm like, okay, well, yes, I'll buy it because now I know
Grocery
it's not going to
bills,
adjust.
cha-ching,
You know, feel bad.
I'm so
But
happy
we
to hear
appre-
that.
Yeah.
Don't forget the sprinkles.
There you go.
So
Anything else? I don't want to take any more time.
obviously, your enthusiasm is contagious. But genuinely appreciate tonight, but also the 24 years that you've been doing it. Our kids are lucky to have you,
Thank you.
and we appreciate what you do every day. We got to know each other a lot better during some
We did.
tough times, COVID times.
Yeah.
And the food never stopped here in
Yeah.
Woburn, so thank you.
You're
Appreciate
welcome.
it.
And
Anything
I'll
else?
echo that. We had your staff in last meeting for the contract, and now to have you here. There is no more important job in our district than the one you do, feeding our kids. So thank you
appreciate
for
it.
all the hard work that you do.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
All right, guys. Nellie, you're
Thank
up.
you.
Huh?
Again, who's running this meeting? All right, next up, we have our family and community engagement updates.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for having us. So we don't have any slides.
Yeah, just so cable can get you.
All right. So thank you so much for having us. My name is Nellie. I'm the Family and Community Liaison for the district. These are my wonderful assistants and my teams. They'll introduce themselves. And I'm So one of the things that we wanted to just address today, when Mr. Crowley said, "Oh, Nellie, just say like what your normal work day would look like." Let me tell you, every day is different. So I put some of the stuff together of what we actually work with everything that we do, what we a little bit of everything that we have to put in what we do. So number one is building strong relationships. Building relationships as our core duty as a FACE liaison is to establish and maintain positive relationships with families and community members. We initiate regular communication, greet parents, greet visitors, and serve as the friendly point of contact by fostering trust, understanding, and we create a welcoming environment to have parents want to come back to us and engage them in their school activities and the programs that we run.
The cycle is facilitating communication. We ensure effective communication between educators, parents, and community members. We all assist and distribute information about school activities, programs, policies, families, and ensure that they are well informed. In addition, we listen to feedbacks and concerns from parents, families, and relay them to the appropriate school persons.
Third, supporting family engagement. We assist with workshops, LPAC meetings, conferences to enhance parental understanding of curriculum, assessments, and student progress. We also encourage families by providing resources to support parental involvement in their children's education.
The fourth one is coordinating community partnerships is extremely important. As a FACE liaison, we are the bridge between the schools and the community. We establish partnerships with local organizations, enhance students' learning experience, participate in mentoring programs, internships, trying to get the children involved. We encourage them to go to the career fairs and do community service options.
Number 5, we address parents' concerns as a FACE liaison. We active advocates with families, helping families navigate the school system and connecting them with appropriate support and service when they need it.
Number 6 is evaluating impact. We assist our assistant superintendent of curriculum and instructions in collecting data to measure the effectiveness of engagement initiatives, identifying areas of improvement, and enhancing efforts.
So in conclusion, the role of a family liaison is multifaceted. It is crucial in promoting collaboration between schools, families, communities. Our daily responsibilities range from building relationships, facilitating communication, and supporting family engagement, to coordinating community partnerships and addressing parental concerns, which they may be many. Fostering some strong connections, empowering families. We not only contribute to the student success, but we also help create a positive and inclusive educational environment. Also, as we strive to meet the parents and guardians where they're at. So, that's what I have for you, but
Would you like me to jump in for you
I
before you go?
do.
Yes.
Well, I was going to say the 3 buckets. So we have 3 buckets this year where the most that we've actually been doing. Registration has been our number 1
Time.
very, very, very time consuming with getting information, with having a family come and start. They'll come, they'll either see me or they'll do the online registration. But then that paperwork follow-up, I feel like it goes into too many hands. So if we would have had a centralized location where, okay, this is our family, this is our team, everything stays here. Once it goes to the secretary, they're starting in 2 days. Like having that, that's what I feel could happen, hopefully in the future, near future. What do you want to add to that?
No, I was just going to say, and I want you to keep going, but when Nellie and I talked about kind of their sharing tonight, and I have the pleasure of working very closely with the 3 of these wonderful people who do a tremendous amount of work for 3 individuals. But when we kind of gave the overview, but then really, and Nellie will keep going, but really kind of to just share kind of where you heard kind of what the goal of their job is, but where the bulk of their time has been this year, one being registration, and then Nellie will go through the other two pieces. But I think it's helpful to hear really kind of, they do all of these things, but really where the most of their time is spent.
Yes, it's registration. Aside from registrations, we also have physicals and immunizations. We have a collaboration with Burlington Public Schools, so we call it the Woburn Burlington Alliance, where Dr. Ultimate is kind of like the head that kind of like runs it, but we have served 92 children have gotten physicals from August all the way to January. That's not even including Dr. Josh Schleter, accepted 7 students. He wanted 7 students, and all of my 7 students that we recommended, they all attended. So that brings a total to 99 children that did not have health insurance or anything that ended up, we were able to give them a physical. On top of that, working with also wonderful Allison, we work with our Board of Health for immunizations, and also with Nurse Jackie. So Nurse Jackie works with the Woburn Burlington Health Alliance. So because she's on her own, she has like a smaller group. So far she's done 30, she's vaccinated 30 of our children. And with Allison Roach, the Woburn Board of Health, and Sarah Lee, our wonderful nurse leader. We've worked as a team and collaborated to do immunization clinics in Woburn. It's been amazing. We have done 30, 40, families coming in all at once. I've asked, like, Mr. Crowley, I was like, can you please have transportation? So we've been busing them in, so there's really no excuse. They can get all the immunizations, they can get their physicals and stuff. So they are ready for school and on track. Also, building, this is my favorite, is building meaningful relationships with our outside sources. Housing Families is a connection that we've been working with. And Liz, Shauna, and Karen have been amazing. They have also all the case managers. Every family of our newcomers that have come in, everybody now has an assigned case manager, which makes it's almost like an extension of us, because then they can also help with filling out for SNAP, Mass Health, things like that. And also we also do professional development. And Rania Cardwell, our ML director, and Courtney, they received a grant where Kate and I, sorry, Camilla. Camilla works part-time, so she works our night shift. Yeah, she's a great help. So Kate and I will be taking a course from the National Association of Education for Translators and Interpreters of Spoken Language. So that should be starting February 14th. So that's our professional development plan. So, do you have any questions for me?
Any questions? Mr.
Thank you, Mr.
Mullen?
Chairman. If I could, first of all, thank you for that Burlington Alliance over there at the middle school in Burlington. And secondly, I don't think you mentioned that you're also located at the library on occasion. Is that still
Yes.
going on?
So Camilla does the
Yeah.
library. Camilla, you want to talk about
Yeah,
your days?
I'm usually at the library right now on Wednesdays and Thursdays from 6 to 8:45. And I help families that work in the morning and they can't make it to school, or they can't get registration. They can't get to Natalie because they work in the morning as well. So they come to me and I help them with registration and anything else they might need.
That's a great resource for the families that might need it, off hours or whatever, to have something like that.
Yes.
Perhaps outside the building is even better, for whatever reason, and have you at the libraries. A fantastic asset for the program, so thank you for that as well. I'm all set, Mr. Chairman.
Ms. Crowley?
So I have a bunch of thoughts, but I guess what I want to say is that the families that you're working with, one day the kids are not enrolled in school, then they come to you, and then they're enrolled in school, and how just hugely important that is for the well-being of kids, and you are responsible for it. So I am just so grateful, because the families that are reaching out, who knows what it was like before you came on board, before we established this program, before you did, excuse me, not we. You know, what was it like for the language barriers or the intimidation piece? Where do we go? What's this brick building? Who are these people?
Yeah.
And so I just find it so, you just do such important work. So I wanted to thank you for that. And my question is, what are popping up for you, like concerns that you're seeing for families in Woburn? Like, not to put you on the spot, any of you, just thinking about, is it still housing, eviction stuff? Is it food insecurity? Just like,
All of the above.
Yeah, okay.
All of the above.
Yeah.
Housing is really big, and it's big everywhere. I've had, and now because I'm also working with the newcomers, I just want to put it out there. I do not own a floor at the Sonesta. If you come to me, I cannot just say, yes, go to the Sonesta or extended day suites. I just want to let the parents know that I will try to help them. I'll give them the resources for applications, CHAMP applications, Section 8 applications, housing applications. But I don't want to send the message that I'm the, like, when you're getting evicted, that I can find you a home.
Yes.
You know, and what I do when that type of things happen, I send them to DTA.
Yeah.
They do have the waiting list. They have to go through the DTA. They have to go through all that process. And we do a lot of like also hand holding for those families. So we do sit at their, either at our office, we do hold their hands, we do sit down, we hug them, we cry with them, because we can feel their pain. And it's just that emotional, just feedback, just letting them know, you know, we're here for you, we'll try the best that we can. And sometimes, you know what, all the parents need is just somebody there just to listen, just to listen to them.
Thank you for that, and thank you for the work that you're doing, and I've been in that space before too, and I just, beautiful, thank you. And you're right, you are not the emergency assistance
Yes,
CD
just like
program.
I do.
Yes.
I don't know where I can put you.
I know, but I'm glad that you're able to find out where to send people.
Yes.
That is the most important piece, so thank you. And I'm watching the way that Courtney is so proud of you and all the work that you're doing. It's just a great presentation.
I will say, because I want them, this is
Yes.
all
Yes.
theirs, really. I mean, I am a very small piece of this puzzle. But I think that what we talk about a lot is just how much they, help take care of, and just talking to Lisa, like, that they take care of and support families in the basic needs, so that students can come to school to learn. And we talk a lot about how they're not necessarily, no one sees the work they're doing all the time, but how this is the work, and how important it is for families to have advocates, because navigating all of these systems. Nellie one day is talking about housing, and then the next day, she's in another phase. Space, and just how much, in helping find preschool programs. Really, it's just it's so many things. And just how for these families to have the three of them as advocates to help navigate it, and just how important that is, and just that, it's huge. And I can't believe that they do as much as they do. I will say, even Camilla, who only does evenings, the number of times I've connected her with a principal that needs something at 9 o'clock in the morning, and she'll pick up the phone and do it, right? And so I think that just speaks really volumes to all their work, so I'll let it go.
And just also speaking about, and I know that our age group is usually from 5 to, grade 12, but I also have this passion for the little ones, for that 0 to 5 age, where I was just, they're like, Nellie, can they come to the preschool? And I'm just like, oh, You know, because then there's other barriers that we also have to have, like if we would have like a preschool that could house that age group as well, that would be amazing. We also work with the Woburn Creative Start, and they're a Head Start program. They are free, but they also fill up really fast. And also transportation also. But transportation is a problem everywhere, but if you can get your kids there, then, you know, it's a great place. I worked there for 25 years. Before I came here, and it's the same type of families. That's one of the things, one of my roles from going there to here was streamlining, because the parents were like, yes, Nellie, now I have you till my son or daughter is in like high school instead of just like kindergarten, and I'm just like, so, yeah, so they call me, and yeah, it's yeah.
You'll be coming here and say, 25 years I've been here.
Exactly, yeah. Any other questions?
Ms. Crowley, all set?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair.
Ms. Watson?
Thank you. I just wanted to say thank you for all your hard work. We had a subcommittee meeting, community relations, prior to this, and your names came up, and all the work, that you do, it's absolutely phenomenal. I agree, Courtney. I don't know how few people do that. So thank you. I did have a question, though. Registration's like your biggest bucket and the thing you spend a lot of time on. Where are you doing the registration? Are you meeting families at the schools, or are you helping them come to you?
Yes. So we meet families either at my office, or we actually go to the house, their own house. Like say if they don't have transportation, we'll go to their house. If they need at nighttime, they'll see Camilla, but pretty much wherever they feel comfortable. We'll go wherever they are.
Got it.
Yeah.
Thank you. And that's why you mentioned too, a community center would be nice to have.
It would be amazing to have, and in the future, if we could like expand our staffing as well. Yeah, expanding our staffing as well, just to see, then the roles, everybody could be in charge of, a piece of the pie, and just keep working together. But I am so lucky to be working with these two wonderful ladies, and Courtney has been amazing. Maureen, I call her all the time. They've been great. So I'm so blessed to have this job and do what I love.
I was going to say, and to answer, I think a big piece of it too is a space where transportate, like public transit. I think that's a part we've struggled, is finding a space where there's bus stops that are close
That are
Yeah.
nearby. Yeah.
Mrs. Chisholm?
Your enthusiasm is great, and I think you follow, when they came in for Lisa and gang. So it's nice that everybody's getting, smiley faces to greet people, and that's a good outlook for Woburn. But when some of these kids that may not be like homeless, but they need a physical and they don't have insurance, just to let people know that they can also attend this.
That's correct.
Yep.
Yes. And so the way we get our list is through the school nurses.
Okay.
So we don't really post it out there, because we'll just get it from the school nurses, and then that's how we know, okay, we have this many people
Who haven't had physicals?
That we
Okay.
can fill in for physicals, and then that's how we're going to, in for registration as well.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. And you keep saying your office, but where is that office so people would know?
So my office is wherever you want me to go. So my office is at the high school.
Okay.
Yes. For
We
now.
are, yes.
Yeah.
We're working right now to see if we can find a space within this office space too.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Just because people were like, well, where do I see her?
Yes.
You know.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Any further questions? All right.
Oh, I did want to mention the upcoming events that we have. We have a Woburn Burlington Health Alliance physicals on February. Our next one is February 26th and April 29th from 6:30 to about 9:30. And we have an immunization clinic with the Board of Health on February 15th, and the LPAC meetings, which we got a lot of feedback the last time, on March 6th and June well. So you guys are welcome to come and join me. And I will give you a little tour if you guys come early for the Burlington Alliance. Mike also knows.
Ms. Cormier.
And the immunizations are done at the senior center, is that correct?
The immunizations are done in the gym part in the senior center, yes. Yes.
Thank you.
So, thank you, Nellie, for coming. Can you describe how people would recognize you?
Oh, so that is super easy. And so one of the things that I also do is, so I always have a Woburn tennis shirt on. I always have a matching flower in my hair, and I like it. It's what I call a uniform, and it's not always going to be orange and black. I have all colors: pink, blue, purple, all colors.
I wasn't
Like for me, you don't even have to know my name. You just say, "Oh yeah, that must be Nellie." Yep. It's just about just having someone like friendly, like they just, "Oh yeah, she's the one that could help you." Like, they don't really have to know my name, but they'll know, they know who I am, and I don't have to find anybody. They find me. I live, work, play in Woburn, and everywhere they find me.
Mr.
Just
Bowen.
before you go on, you are our family liaison, but I noticed your family's here tonight. If you want to introduce them at all, and I know it's a team effort over there at your house.
So, my husband, I try to keep him home, but and I think he's just getting me back because I told him, "Oh, can you come and volunteer at the LPAC meeting?" And he did. My husband is here, and my son, Vinny, is also here, which he goes to the Goodyear, and he's 11 years old. But my husband, he comes with me everywhere. He's such a support system. He's really great. Thank you.
That's what it's about. Thank you very much.
Thank you all. Yes. Thank you all so much for everything that you do and everything you do to help our kids. It is deeply, deeply appreciated.
You're welcome.
All right. So we move on now to WPS enrollment updates with Dr. Crowell.
Sure. I thought we're sort of at the midpoint of the school year and trying to take a look at where we are with enrollment. It actually is going to dovetail to the other presentations that you heard tonight in a lot of data points. So it's not a lengthy presentation, but so I'll go through it and be able to answer any questions that you might have. Basically, our enrollment right now is 4,596 students. And so that's up 87 students since October 1st. We report to the state October 1st. That's our deadline. So all of our reporting from year to year, we pull from the October 1 SIMS data. And you'll see this referenced in future slides. But again, what you heard from the food service department and from Nellie is that our student population is actually growing. That's an increase of 240 from last year to this year. So, and 87 since October 1st. I was with the principal at the high school earlier this week, and I think he said that there might have been 8 students within the last 10 days that have enrolled. So we are a vibrant, active community, and to the point where Nellie is spending so much time with registration, it's happening all the time. So just want to reinforce that reality for the committee. So again, this is this is the largest our enrollment has been in a number of years.
Just put that into perspective, that looks like about over a 5% increase in our student body since last year.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was going to say to that number too, and again, we've talked about the state of Flint before, that there's a lot of, as 87 come in, we have 50 that go out, right? They take in and out. So I also think from the registration point, we talked a lot about that it's not just the 240. They enrolled a family that, was here for 3 months, or they, and we left. So I think too, there's more sometimes than just the number.
Certainly. Well, and here it is. So it really isn't just the numbers, and because I'm going to go to some of the data. But post-COVID, public education has changed, and I think it's changed for everybody. It's changed for school committee members, it's changed for teachers, for staff, all staff. Our kids' needs are greater than they've ever been. And so not only do we have more, but we have more needs. And so the social emotional need is there and growing. We are still recovering from COVID, the learning loss of COVID. When I think about our fourth graders this year, they were in kindergarten when we shut down for 2 weeks back in March of 2020. And so they had their foundational time was not as it really should have been. Our high school seniors were freshmen, so like we're still a couple years away from really kind of getting back to where we were relative to COVID as far as the linear progression of learning. And so I say all that because you've heard tonight, like the people in Woburn are amazing, and our staff everywhere, our teachers, our paraprofessionals, our nurses, our crossing guards, our lunch monitors, have contributed to make the Woburn Public Schools what it is today. And so the word must be out because maybe that's why everyone's coming. So, but I just want to say that because I'm going to go, it's data driven, but the day-to-day is a challenge for everybody. One of the things that we have been paying special attention to and we'll speak to, we call it the high needs population, but the DESE, which is the Department of Education here in Massachusetts, and for the benefit of people that can't see the screen, the high needs population is composed of our EL population, which are multilingual learners who are currently learning, as well as people that have tested out of the EL or flepped out. Our low-income population, and again, Lisa Tamayan touched on that earlier tonight, and our students with disabilities, those on IEP. So those three contribute to what we call our high needs population. This is the change over time of our high needs population, and again, I'll take a little time on it. I asked to go back. This data is pulled from October 1 of whatever year we're looking at, so October 1 of 2013, 2014. So our EL population in 2013-14 was 3.8% of the entire student population. In 2019-2020, it grew to 9%, and then this year it's 14.1% of our student population. So the growth is staggering, and people that are in schools will tell you that it really, you see it, you feel it every single day. First language, not English, again, 14.8% back 10 years ago, grew to 20.4%, and that's up to 23.6%. Students with disabilities, 10 years ago was at 15%. 2019-2020 was at 17.5%. 23-24, it's 21.9%. And Maureen will tell me that this is from October 1, and it's actually...
It's as of today, 23.5%.
There you go. So...
And what happens is your students, your preschool students that turn 3 become eligible on the day of their 3rd birthday. So your October numbers tend to be lower because your students age in across the year. So we're at 23.5 as of today. Is the percentage.
Thank you. And our low-income numbers, and again, grateful that we are providing free food to our students. 10 years ago was 26.8% of the entire student population. It was up slightly in 2019-2020, but you can see the growth from 2020 to 2024 to 40.9%, or almost 41% of our students are now low income. As a population, our high needs population has gone up 16%. So 56% of our student population is now high needs. That's taken again from the October 1 data that we submit. Our numbers will only increase, I believe, when we submit again. So part of the reason to do this is just to provide the committee an update. I thought it lent itself to the other agenda items. And as we start thinking about what our needs might be, part of what we want to always come back to is the strategic plan. And when we think about what our needs are, how does it relate into the strategic plan? Our initiatives, deeper learning, the tiered systems of support that you've heard about, and the scaffolding of resource allocation. So we are mindful of the complex needs of our kids, the incredible staff that we have, and trying to look to the future to meet the needs of this ever-changing population. And so I would open it up to any questions people have. I just tried to keep a relatively brief presentation, but just to kind of give you insight into the analysis that we are starting to do.
Mrs. Chisholm.
I just look at people that are looking at this, the special populations, it changes over time. If you add it up, it looks like 100% of our population fits into this category. So I'm assuming that kids could be in multiple things, so that we
Yes.
just don't want people to think 100% of our kids are now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so that, just so,
Individually identified.
Yes.
yeah, so I just want to make sure that everybody knows that. And with the high needs population growth coming, we're just going to make sure that everybody realizes that this is going to be an expense. And with the budget being the budget this year, we're going to need additional staff to handle all this. So I just hope that not only, our government, our city government paying attention, but the state has got to pay attention to this and provide us with something, either stopping the flow of this, or so we can take care of the ones we have, but also make sure that we have the funding to keep doing what we do every single day. So it's just hope everybody's paying attention. And with the Maura Healy making her statements the other day about cuts that she's going to be making to schools, it scares me. So just another thing for us to be aware of, that this is costing us a lot of money.
Okay. Other questions? Mr. Moran.
It's more of a comment, I guess, Mr. Chairman, to Dr. Crowley. Great information. I don't know if this is going to be up on our website soon, how many people are watching tonight on cable. Just, again, Ms. Chisholm's point, great factors, great information. But again, we're going to be starting our budget soon. Everybody's going to assume, there goes the school again, going after money. Well, the numbers don't lie. There they are. I don't know if that can get linked into our website at a near, a near date, so people can kind of, if they get onto the website and look at it and say, oh, I see, okay. Maybe that's why they need that much money in that department, or maybe they are, significantly educating the students and families in our districts by adding to our staff, or adding here, adding there. Just, a point of information to get the information out there again. Thank you.
Certainly.
Other questions? I just want to sort of add a quick comment. I think the presentations we've seen tonight dovetail together, as you pointed out, Dr. Crowley, in a really meaningful way. These are our kids, and no matter who they are, when they're coming, how they're coming, these are our kids. And it is our responsibility, first and foremost, to do everything that we can for them. And so I think it's important to just keep that in mind as we look at these numbers, right? I mean, we are in charge of budgets. It's our job to think about the expense. These are our kids. Okay. So if there's nothing else there, we are going to move into subcommittee reports. First, Finance and Personnel.
Yep, we met twice on January 17th at 8 a.m. here in the conference room. In attendance was Superintendent Matt Crowley and Alex Dizio and Patty McKinnon, and school committee members James Austin, Colleen Palmier, and myself. We received our warrants for review and discussion on best practice to process them and have the bills paid in time without any interruptions and delays was discussed at length. We received the balance of accounts, questions were asked, and we noted certain lines that were in the red at this time. Substitute teachers and out-of-district expenditures are on that list, but we know that that's going to be handled, and we'll be all set with that. Discussion on the upcoming budget was made. We would like to see the percentage amount that when we started with from last year, so we took the ending budget, adding all the hires that we have this year, and the cost of the positions moving from the ESSER grant into our budget, the 9 reading specialists, the 10 interventionists, and a BCBA. And what we start with for that percentage is what we would like to see come forward. Dates were set for additional budget meetings once the superintendent and his admin team have had time to meet with principals and department heads. We want to have a budget that keeps our schools progressing in the right direction, and we need to be able to continue to grow and take care of all of our kids, and we don't want to have, start with wishes and dreams and with 17% increase, we know we're not going to get it, but we have to be realistic and know what we have to have. Discussion was on the rental fee that was due from an event in December. It still has not been paid. Discussion to have this to be expedited since we have already incurred the expense of all our custodians on that night. So I don't know, Alex, if that's been done yet, if that bill has been paid. I know we're chasing that.
As of this morning, it has not been paid.
Okay, so we're going to have to just, and then we voted 3-0 to increase the preschool tuition to $3,300 starting next school year. That's just for the integrated preschool, so we'd have to have a vote from the full committee on that. So I'll make a motion that we increase the preschool tuition to $3,300 from $3,000 starting in September.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. Discussion on the motion.
Oh, I was just hoping to get some rationale behind the tuition increase. I know it's.
Yeah, can I, actually,
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
Yes.
the out-of-districts are on track for what was planned this year. What you see in the budget line is the out-of-district budget over the past year was made up of an allocation through the budget, an allocation through a circuit breaker offset, another through a grant, and another through money on the city side. So it's exactly as was planned. It's just that it's made up of different components, and some of those monies are moved over at the end of the year.
Correct.
She was asking about preschool?
The preschool.
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought.
No,
you
that
were
was great,
referring-
though. I
yeah.
No,
actually.
That was also helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very helpful.
The out-of-district tuitions are on track as planned.
Great.
With respect to the preschool tuition, the recommendation from the early childhood coordinator was to increase the tuition from $3,000 to $3,300. It was made because there has not been an increase in several years, and they looked at comparable districts and decided, part of what we have to keep in mind is trying not to incur more expense. And the rate was very low, and the decision was made that it was time at this point. I know we've brought it to subcommittees over the past few years, and the decision had been to hold, and at this time it was felt that the time was right to be a little bit more in line with neighboring districts.
Okay. Thank you.
Any further discussion on the motion? Ms. Millen?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, either for the committee or Ms. Ryan. Is there scholarships available, tuition waivers, how would someone apply for that accordingly?
Yes, there are so many dedicated at-risk spots that you, as a committee, approved. We're very thankful for that, and there's information on the website for how people would apply for that.
Just making sure, there's a little bit of increase here, if people might be difficult this time, so, the opportunity is there if you need it, so thank you for that. Thank you, I'm all set, Mr.
Any
Chairman.
additional? All right. Yes, Ms.
Sorry,
Watson,
just one thought. Are we concerned with the additional price increase that we might scare some people off? I know we've had trouble filling the neighborhood peers slots, and we still have openings in those, so I don't know if a price increase might turn some people away.
Hey,
Just a thought.
sure, we always run that risk. We don't know. However, I believe that the people that are not electing to come to the program, typically what we're hearing, the feedback, is that it's because they're seeking full-day options, and that it's really more a result of the time that's provided.
That makes sense.
Just one more
Ms. Crawford.
comment. Just when we vote on this, I only hear amazing things about the preschool. The staff is professional. I mean, this is a very affordable public preschool program. I know it's not full day yet, but I mean, I hear wonderful things. So I think that the slight increase, I would be in favor of it because I do think that it's a tremendous program. We need to maintain the high level of the program. So I'm in favor.
Thank you for that. Any additional? All right. Motion on the floor, I believe, is to increase preschool tuition to $3,300 a year. All right. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. The ayes have it.
And then we did discuss one personnel issue at the same meeting, the salary for the new school cultural position at the high school. Presently, there was no required or just preferred on college level degree for this position. I felt that we probably should have had someone with the college level and not just experience, but the salary was going to be $62,000 and will be paid out of the migrant grant. Discussion whether this should be required since we expect the level of education for our teaching staff in the same salary range. But it was left as preferred, and with the meeting adjourned at 9:30. So that's, I don't know if that person has even been hired yet. I don't know if that status or not for interviews.
In process right now.
Okay. And then we met again on Monday, January 22nd at 9 a.m. In attendance was Dr. Crowley and Pat McKinnon, and school committee members Colin Comia, James Austin, and myself. We met to try to make a better way to actually process the bills instead of the warrants being sent to us, and then we have to send the questions to Patty, and Patty has to research them and get back to us. So we met to just actually go over the invoices, and we got the stacks of invoices, but we truly didn't feel that that was the best way to do it. So we're going back to our old way of doing it. In the same way, we're getting our warrants and submitting our questions to Patty, and she'll get back to us, and we'll answer them that way. So that hopefully everything will crossing our I's and dotting our T's and all the wonderful things that we need to do. So, and then we're meeting adjourned at 10 a.m.
Okay. And we don't have any list of bills or balance
No.
accounts to manage? Okay.
No.
All right, then. Thank you. Community relations.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. We met today at 6 p.m. actually, and in attendance was Courtney Young, Jessica Wetzel, Matt Crowley, Colleen Comier, Maury Ryan, Andrew Lipset, and Charles Viola. We had several items on the agenda. First item was family engagement update. I will not repeat all because we heard from Miss Nellie today. So we spoke about basically what's being done and what's currently happening. The same goes for second item on the agenda was literacy community update, which Ms. Ryan and Ms. Young kind of gave an update as far as what's been taking place in the community and how they are offering, I guess, a big initiative item to in the morning, in the evening, and online as far as a reading initiative, I believe. So I didn't officially submit the minutes as the meeting was today. I'm trying to read my own handwriting, which is actually difficult, more difficult than I realized. We also talked about community partnerships, and we actually have a lot of partnerships within the community, and just ideas on how to go forward and making additional partnerships. I think one way would be to connect with Nellie, and also I think Samantha Stone would be a great connection, considering those two options are people already in the community, and I think it just makes sense to, instead of reinvent the wheel, kind of jump on the bandwagon, if you will. Also, we briefly spoke about communications as far as school committee and the public, and Ms. Wetzel and myself, we mentioned one idea was to have monthly meetings, maybe one online, and that way in the evening, so that way parents could actually attend, and at other times somewhere in public, which is also the next agenda item was ways to increase transparency, which we mentioned is being available and having a consistent time to meet. So that concludes the minutes for today, and we adjourned at approximately 6:51.
Approximately.
6:51.
All right. Thank you very much, and I'm happy to see this subcommittee having its first meeting as well. And actually, could I also ask Mrs. Chisholm and Mr. Austin, was there discussion of a regular meeting date, and what was the sort of consensus on
For
that?
finance, it's going to be tough because we'll have budget, so we're going to be having a lot of meetings.
Okay.
Because that's something I wanted to actually ask the board, so what do we want to do about that? Do we want to have, it has to be with the superintendent and, Alex's time frame. So it's probably going to be more or less during the day, so it's hard for people to get there. So I don't, is that something we're going to do, or, you know, we have to get a joint meeting with the city council too at some point down the road a little bit, just so that we keep everybody informed so they're not shocked when they hear it.
Yeah, I think that's something that we can sort of perhaps have a first thought about for our next meeting in terms of what a budget timeline might start to look like. You know, I know Dr. Crowley and I have both had preliminary discussions with the mayor on budgetary issues, I think productive ones. We're sort of figuring all of that out as we go.
Is he still going with a date that we can have for the end date, and we can go backwards? I mean, does he have a date that he wants the budget to be given to him, or is not?
I have not heard a
Okay.
date yet.
Any time that he'll be able to give us a percentage? I know there's always discussion before, but I know it's hard, and I don't want to put anybody on the spot, but we really can't do a lot until we know what we're doing.
And I know that that's something he has brought up as well. So, you know, while we don't have any kind of set date or timeline as yet, my hope is that that will be the case.
Because I don't want to meet just to meet, but at the same time, we do need to meet.
Right.
And what I can tell you is that we've met, we actually had a 3-hour meeting today with principals and department heads. We had about a 4-hour meeting last week with principals and department heads relative to FY25. So the conversations have started happening. I know that the principals then are using their teacher leadership teams to push out information to schools and to receive feedback about what people are thinking about at each of their schools. And we recognize, to your comment earlier, you know, we are trying to be mindful of the needs of our kids, but if looking at things as conservatively as possible, because but yet meeting all the needs of all of our kids.
Correct.
So, moving forward, and part of the reason why we've met with the principals the past couple of weeks, we have the DESE tiered focus monitoring coming in, so people will be tied up. Our plan is to work over February vacation to start to continue that conversation, so we can set a time to.
Yeah, so maybe next week we can get some dates just floating around so people can start to plan accordingly. Because I think that the more we get out there too, especially if it's going to be a tough one and people end up getting things, that we have obligations to inform people of all this. So we don't want any surprises, and we want people to know as soon as possible.
Through the chair, to Ms. Chisholm, are we doing the budget through finance? And you were asking if it's okay to the board if you have meetings during the day?
Right.
Yeah.
So that we can meet, and then we can, of course, bring it out as soon as possible to everybody, because I think we all need to be aware of what's going on.
Yeah. Okay.
But I think that we can't wait for 2 meetings a month to get this done.
I agree 100%. I think that if you need to have meetings, just have them and, you know, do the best for other members to get there. But I think, you know,
Yeah,
I think finance should, I like the structure of finance working on the budget and members being able to come and observe those meetings and be recognized by the chair and the subcommittees, because it's just so difficult to do it in public.
Right.
I mean, not public session, but the full meeting.
Right.
Hearing things for the first time and trying to integrate at the same time. So that's, I know you asked that question, so I just wanted to answer that.
So, yeah, I mean, I think, you know, as we move forward, Dr. Crowley and Mr. Dizio can sort of think about how they want this process to work, and we can have those conversations, perhaps starting at their next meeting and through finance. All right. Anything additional? Oh, that was regarding the meetings. Were you able, Mr. Austin, to talk about a regular meeting date?
We was actually looking to meet the final Wednesday of the month at 5:45, so basically the meeting before the general school committee meeting.
Okay. All right, that's great. Thank you. All right, that moves us on to curriculum, and you were all set with your minutes, correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay. That moves us on to curriculum and data trends. Mr. Moran.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman. We did meet. I want to thank Ms. McLeod for emailing the group, and she printed out a copy for myself as well. So we met on 1/24 here at the Joyce at 9:45 with Principal Resident, Ms. Caldwell. The administration was Assistant Superintendent Ms. Courtney Young, school committee members including Mr. Austin, Colleen Cormier, and myself. We began with the program of studies introduced to us by the principal and and the difference between that and the curriculum differences. So that meeting was more about the program of studies, and we discussed a little bit about the differences between the two, seeing how Mr. Austin was new. We did have some, hopefully, I don't know if Ms. Young got a chance to email the members the program of studies or not. I meant to remind you of that, but,
I did not, I have it here.
okay, so we can,
I can read it out, or we can put it up, whatever works for you. It's not.
I think maybe just email everybody out and come back with questions, perhaps. It's,
Do you need, do we have to vote on this, though?
Yeah, to what
Well,
degree is this time sensitive?
kind of, yeah, send it, I guess.
I apologize, I did not realize.
So I meant to remind you of that. There was a handout, I don't, Ms. Cormier, do you have yours?
I have it here. I
Okay.
can read the class, I can read the courses out loud. I'm happy to go through any of them.
Okay, sorry for that,
There's
folks.
questions.
If it's okay, we'll allow Ms. Young to kind of go over the classes. And basically what it tells us is the classes, again, to Ms. Wetzel and Mr. Austin, these are new classes introduced by the administration, newly offered ones, a description was provided, the reasoning behind it, the changes or modifications for such classes. Obviously, as Ms. Chisholm and others have talked about, staff will be needed, money will be needed down the road to be determined if these classes are projected. The Lead the Way discussion on the project Lead the Way events up at the high school and the dual enrollments we offer here at our Woburn Memorial High School District. Recruitment and retention issues. It's no news to anybody at all that that's an issue. So getting people in the building, keeping them in our building is always a problem at each level, not just Woburn all the way around. And we're going to have the motion to have this for this full committee, for the full committee for further discussion and approval. So I'll, again, allow Ms. Young to go over what was presented to us from the principal, if you don't mind.
Is that?
If that's okay with everybody tonight, just quick.
I think probably if we could project it, that might be best, so people can visually see it. We can describe a little bit what's going on, and then take a vote.
Sorry about that. Totally blew the ball there. Having Ms. Young send this out about the programs and why they were there.
Did you share it with me?
I did.
Okay.
I can start before it goes up, but
We're
the
good.
first one is pretty, is.
June, I need you to log in. I
straightforward.
shut down.
You can go ahead.
Sure. So again, the process for this is these are the courses that will be offered, and two parts of it. If there's not enough enrollment, then they don't run, as well as some, one course, just only one, is dependent upon new staff, which is the dance course, which I'll talk about, and again, of course, that also would not run if we didn't have staffing. That is the only class at the high school right now that has any kind of staffing implications. And take your time, I have enough I can say before you show it.
Sorry about that.
The other part is part of this kind of the process of how new courses come. These are brought forward by members of the department. So a history educator may say, I want to offer this course next year, and then that course is brought through. We do a lot of student surveys and things like that. So it's not necessarily Mr. Rassidin's course recommendations. These are coming from educators and kind of courses that they're looking to offer. The other part that we talked about is that, and I'll go through them, some of them are new courses, but they're really like a rebrand of an existing course, but again, with a new name and a new course title, course number, we'll bring them forward for you, but a lot of these are also just kind of the rebrand in that way. And then I think that's it on that. So again, the first course, which is why I can go while we're waiting, is the dance course. This will be offered as either a visual and performing arts credit or a physical education credit. And as we mentioned, and will come forward, as we heard from the Visual and Performing Arts Department, that we're hoping to not necessarily get a full-time dance teacher. This would be on a pilot process, and we'll be looking for 2/5 or 3/5 from there. The next course is a sculpture course. Again, this is a new course, but it's a rebrand within the Visual and Performing Arts Department. The goal of the Visual and Performing Arts Department is right now is they're looking to offer more elective courses that students can take in younger grades. There have been the Arts Foundations course, and then what would happen is the schedule would get full, and then they would have access to kind of some of the electives later on, and so they're looking to offer the sculpture course. in the printmaking course for students. We're looking to offer a Theater 2 course. This is an advanced level tech course. And so this is, again, building up current programming. This is the extension course, the theater programming. Television production. This is, there are in the morning announcements. This is through the Woburn Public Media Center. These courses are not credit courses, but again, these would be 2 new added courses. These are pass-fail. These are done with, perfect. Give you a second to go down. And I can go back and answer any questions about any of them. Oh, all right. Perfect. A little bit further. A little further. Thank you. There's the Theater 2 course. Here's the television production, the morning announcement course. We have then the Principles of Engineering. This is an example. Keep going down. The Principles of Engineering is an example of a course that's just been yeah, one more. Perfect. One more. Great. The Principles of Engineering is we're looking at our innovation pathways at the high school. We have 2 project lead the way pathways. One is within biomedical, and the other is, and the name is escaping me at the moment, but we are rebranding it as an engineering pathway. It's a little bit clearer on like what the goal of the courses are. We're hoping that that rebrand will get a little bit more engagement. We have a very robust offer, kind of student cohort that's going through the biomedical, and we're looking to build up the engineering pathway as much. And I can't-
Advanced manufacturing?
Yes, thank you.
Beautiful.
Advanced manufacturing, and we're hoping by shifting it through engineering that will be a little bit clearer on kind of what they are. Then we have within the wellness and physical education, we've been very fortunate to have courses that have been co-taught within our science department and our physical education wellness department. This is a course that would be also focused within multidisciplinary, and this is a happiness and well-being course. This is an elective course for 11th and 12th graders. Coming back down, we're excited for the first time to be offering electives in our world languages department, Greek and Latin roots, and our comparative mythology. Then we have, we're adding an advanced placement course, the Advanced Placement African American Studies course. We have an educator at the high school who had come forward as wanting to bring this advanced placement course to the high school a little over a year ago. She has gone through the training portion of it. There are currently, I believe, 9 high schools offering it through the first pilot, and then we would be joining in a much larger cohort in the second pilot. And that is, again, an advanced placement course. Then we have our topics in history through media and film. We offer already a media and film course. This one would be a little bit different in terms of enhancing student choice. So it actually would be that the group of students in the course would select the period in history that they're interested in, and that would drive the media. And so one of the things we talked about is whether this would be, if this were a course that were to be approved and then we were to offer it, if students would be able to elect into it multiple times, given its the nature of the class. We are still working through how that would work so that you're not on your transcript taking the same class twice. So I am not clear on that piece. But again, this is the purpose of this is for us to build out the program of studies for students to begin the course selection process, and then courses obviously will not run if there's not enrollment and or if we aren't funding staffing. And I don't know if I missed anything, but I can answer any questions if you have them.
And I apologize for Ms. Young having to read through all those. Again, since this is
We've done it anyway.
I'm sure. This is our first view at this. Perhaps if the the consensus might be to hold off till the next meeting, although we did not get a deadline.
think we need to do
on
it
the
then,
principal.
So I will say that I do, if possible, if it can go through this evening would be preferable.
Okay, that was my next question. Again, we didn't get a deadline from the principal on this, but it appears as though for Ms. Young that we would like an approval on this evening, so.
So they have to begin building out the program.
Program
studies.
booklet.
Any questions from the members on the program studies?
Does this
Mrs. Chisholm?
replace anything else? Anything's being dropped this year and not?
So we, in terms of specifically being dropped, I guess I can't confirm. It is always a matter of enrollment, what gets offered. We are looking at within departments that have more electives in terms of whether we want to be looking at different kind of cycles or rotations of those electives. There has not been a determination yet. I will have Principal Rasmussen will be coming to our subcommittee, and then Simi will also come to the full committee to be sharing what we hope will be the proposed and final new schedule. There's a committee that's working on that, and a new schedule will also, we're hoping that part of the new schedule is to make it easier for students to elect into more electives. So we're kind of have a few different factors that make kind of that, I guess, decision. We may keep all for the year while the schedule change and see where we land. We might see if it's worth looking at them now. The other thing that I can share is that we did last year with great success is that in our arts and science that have kind of the most elective options for our freshman class or in our current 8th graders, because in the other areas they kind of get to set courses. Art and the visual and performing arts and science, there's a lot more kind of options for freshmen. That we have a STEAM showcase where our 8th grade class, our 8th grade students go up to the high school with guidance counselors, 8th grade teachers, and they actually go through the actual theater class that they could take as an elective as a freshman, so that helps in terms of kind of expanding our kind of elective in those offerings, especially the pathways, the engineering pathway. So the STEAM showcase will be coming up in a few weeks. Part of also kind of a question of planning around courses. But in terms of going away, I'm not positive, but we would be able to have that updated most likely when we talk about the schedule.
Okay.
Ms. Wetzel?
Two things. One, school choices have changed a lot since I was in school, and I think that's fantastic. I love it. I kind of want to go back. To what does PLTW mean? I saw it under one of the courses.
That's Project Lead the Way.
Okay.
Yeah, Innovation Pathways, and that's a multi-year partnership that we actually, with the Department of Education, and we actually have that. They've come in a few times, and Kim Gustenhofen, our science coordinator, who's presented on them before, we actually now our bio track is like an exemplary version, and we have that also at the middle schools. But really, what it is it's they're project-based, real-world application-based, and that's where our early college offerings are too, as well as our dual enrollment. A lot of those. So we have a biomedical class that we offer with UMass Lowell, and students who take it at Woburn Memorial High School also get credits through UMass Lowell for the course. But really, their pathways primarily to be gaining credits.
Thank you.
And Kim can come back at any time. She comes usually once a year, and she does a nice job really explaining kind of what we've done to expand our sciences.
I had a comment as well.
Yes, Mr. Ross.
You can correct me if it's the wrong place, but I actually was grateful to be at the subcommittee meeting, curriculum and data trends. I actually was that person that asked many questions because I was uninformed, and so the overall idea of how new curriculums or new items are brought to the school in my mind was, which is the word from the street or the post from Facebook, is that the school committee chooses, and from what I learned, correct me if I'm incorrect, that it's the teachers that bring it forward. And then there's a process, there's a lot of channels that has to go through prior to us making a vote which was my hesitation at first, because I'm thinking I have to be responsible. But I'm realizing there's other people that's making a bigger decision than me. So I'm grateful to be a part of that process. I did have a hesitation about the African American studies, and I'm glad we had a conversation. It being something that's very cultural, very sensitive. Not really a concern, but just not concern of mine, but more of a concern generally is that I asked the question, was there going to be someone of color teaching the class? And I was told no. And what came to my mind as I was speaking was it's better to actually have the class be taught than not have it at all. And Mr. Moran said, would we rather have someone of color that's not equipped or qualified to teach, or have someone that's not of color? And I thought that was a valid point. And someone else mentioned in the meeting, if someone that's not of color teaching it, it'll actually open the doors for someone that's not of color to take the class. So having someone that's of color to teach the class may make those that are not black or not African American feel like maybe I can't or should not take. And I thought it was having someone that's not of color is actually not a bad idea. Even going home and speaking about it, and I think it being offered is excellent option for the school.
Thank you very much. Any further questions? I will accept a motion to vote to approve the program of studies.
Motion to approve program of studies as presented this evening.
Second. All right. Any discussion on the motion? We've taken care of much of that. All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion passes.
And again, I want to apologize for putting Ms. Young through that, but I appreciate the committee's concern in getting that moved forward. And again, obviously, the principal's available for any other questions or concerns regarding, such matters as the program of studies. As to Mr. Austin's point, I think, Ms. Young, we realized that the African history class is offered in 9 other districts, so it's not new to Woburn, and it's going to be presented at Woburn. Again, if there's enough enrollment, then the class will go. If it doesn't go, it doesn't go. But again, it was a great learning experience, I believe, for Mr. Austin, as well as having the principal in to tell us what's new, what's changing, what's coming, what's going. And again, rebranding it, which comes up to item number 2. Ms. Caldwell was up with us from the high school, our multilingual classmate, coordinator, and she just had the alignment of program of studies and curriculum, updating the terminology to meet DESE's compliance. And it used to be English. Well, now it might be English composition, English grammar, whatever DESE wants us to call those particular courses, that will be presented to the program of studies as well. Just be compliant with what DESE is offering us. And again, apologize for Ms. Young going through that tonight, but she came to our meeting coming from a very successful literacy event over at the Reeves. It happened to be the half day that the teachers and staff went through that day. And again, to Mr. Austin points about what's going on, perhaps a lot of people don't realize that these half days are into the contract nowadays. I believe Ms. Young indicated there was 30-plus programs going on that half day that the staff, including the para group that day, could pick and choose from. I think you were trying to coordinate what class was going to be where across the district at the time. Ms. Young was trying to figure out what's what and what's going on for that half day. And again, the teachers are doing the PD days. They're selecting them and they're appearing. And part of Ms. Young's soon-to-be, the mid-year review, data, and budget needs will be presented at a later date. So I appreciate Ms. Young's efforts during that morning meeting. The meeting adjourned at 11 o'clock, and we did not set up a new date or a new schedule, but we will look into that. So
All right, I appreciate it. Thank
you very much.
All right, policy.
Yes, we did meet Friday, January 12th at 7:45 a.m. at the Superintendent's Conference Room. Present were myself, Mr. Mulrennan, Ms. Crowley, Superintendent Crowley, and Patricia Chisholm. I have a list of the policies. For the first topic, we asked that the following policies be put forth to the full committee for immediate action, as they were just simple language changes, and Dr. Crowley is pulling that up now so that our visual learners can also see them.
I'm on, it's Jean's email.
Yeah, I sent it to her. If you go back, I saw it. Colleen, right there, document shared, right there. Yep. And then go ahead and open that. There we go. So first is, so again, these are from the MASC updates from the December 2023 newsletter. And these are the recommended policy updates from them with the language changes. So first is AC, and of course I said this to Jean, so she doesn't have to type this all out while I say it. AC, non-discrimination and harassment, which updated the protected classes. AD, educational philosophy and objectives. This was renamed as mission statement, and what was in there was antiquated, and so we decided to update to replace the name of AD to now be educational philosophy and objectives. We're going to put the mission statement with a link to the strategic plan that came out. And then I also put in a request to City Hall to have the WPS page updated because it had another vision statement that I don't know where that came from, is now updated very quickly. Thank you to Samantha Stone and Craig at City Hall. BEDH, public comment at school committee meetings. There was a reference to signing in. We don't do that. BHC, school committee staff communications. EFC, universal free school meals. EFD, school nutrition program charge policy. JFBB, school choice. This again updated the protected classes. And ADA, mission statement, we were removing that outdated language. So I will make a motion for these changes to be made with a suspension of the rules, as we would normally have 3 meetings, but with the simple language changes, I figured we may want to just put those changes through. So I will make such a motion.
A motion to suspend the rules to adopt these policies.
Second.
All right. All in favor?
Aye. And again, these are in everybody's email, and I can send them again if they need them. And let's see. So the following policies would be sent to the full committee for tabling after review with the Director of Technology, Jennifer Judkins, who I've been in communication with. This includes EHAA, District Security Relating to Technology, EHB, Data and Records
I'm
Retention.
sorry, Ms. Cormier, can I just stop you?
Yeah,
We voted to suspend the rules.
For
We now
that.
need to vote
Oh,
to
sorry.
adopt those
The
policies.
rules have been suspended. Now
Yes.
I would like to make a motion that the previously read policies be adopted as presented.
Second.
All right. Any discussion on the motion? Yes.
Just that Ms. Cormier brought this policy, and these are not substance changes, as she stated, and she knows it too well. I'm just reiterating this again, that these are not major policy changes. It's just fixing language that are in other statutes.
Yes.
I appreciate the reiteration. We want to make sure the public is aware.
I just
We're not
want to
just
make
changing
Ms. Cormier
policy
say it
willy-nilly.
again.
And if anyone on the committee or in the public had a question about those and thought that perhaps there was a change that was needed, they could also bring it to us, but this was an opportunity for us to just move those through.
Simply
and take a read.
Procedural.
Exactly.
Yes, okay, so
Thank
that's
you.
why I.
Check that off my list.
All right. Any further discussion on the motion? All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes carry.
Excellent. So, item B, the policies, as I mentioned, that I am discussing with Jennifer Judkins, we did discuss so that we could just table them, but she will bring any other changes so that at the next meeting when we do our reading and discussion, we can then have the most updated version, and then following that, the next meeting would be when we would vote on them. So those include EHAA, District Security Related to Technology, EHB, Data and Records Retention, GBEE, Personal Use of Technology, IJND, Access to Digital Resources, IJNDB, Use of Technology in Instruction, IJNDC, Acceptable Use of Digital Resources, JICJ, Student Use of Technology in Schools, KDC, Community Use of Digital Resources, KDCB, District Website and Social Media. Those were all related to technology, and I believe they were all new, so that, again, we will be discussing those. And then also brought forward was the current policies on FMLA, the Family Medical Leave Act, which has updated since our policies have been updated. So Ms. Judkins also brought that forward. So that would be GCCC, Professional Staff Family and Medical Leave, with GCCE being the example which further expounds on that first policy, and GDCC, Support Staff Family and Medical Leave, and again JDCC-E, which is the example. Other things that we discussed was AC-R, the non-discrimination policy, including harassment and retaliation. We do not need this particular regulation policy, as we have our non-discrimination policy from our lawyer, Mr. Joyce, and so we're going to ignore that. BDB, the responsibilities of officers and members. This was brought to the attention of the policy subcommittee by Chair Lipset for adoption. I did contact the clerk's office to determine if this is something we can add, as Ms. Chisholm pointed out, that it may be that we cannot add another. So the point is that it's the vice chair position that Mr. Lipset was interested in. Ms. Chisholm wondered if that was allowed per our charter. It is not mentioned in the charter. Thank you to Diane Stifler at City Hall for providing that. And so I would move forward with just keep, again, these are going to be tabled, and we can discuss them at the next meeting. BHE, use of electronic messaging by school committee members. We did adopt this last year in October, but MASC has updated the languages and added a new cross-reference, and so I would like to update and reaffirm if the new cross-reference is adopted by us, which you saw above from Ms. Judkins. So after my conversation with her, we will discuss that at the next meeting. And then KBB, equitable communication, translation, and interpretation. We tabled actually in December of 2022, where it kind of languished, and Ms. Crowley took it for review at Student Services, but then as I've heard that Ms. Young now has it, and so it's still in process and still growing, and Ms. Young may give us an update.
I can. Yeah, I spoke to Ms. Caldwell, the ML director, who this falls under, and when you're ready for her to come to subcommittee, she has a lot of kind of things to talk about with this. There's some different ways that they've been adopted and different policies and different processes. So she's prepared whenever we're ready for her to come.
Great.
Yeah.
And so I will make a motion that we table the above mentioned policies from B and C as reported in the minutes.
Second.
Any discussion on that motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
And so I will put out another list to the members with these policies, with the links that are part of the document, and then Mr. Lipset can put those in the agenda. I don't know if it's the discussion one or the voting one, but we did list these in the policy.
Yes, we would have to do that.
Perfect. So we'll do that. We'll provide those to Ms. McLeod. And we adjourned at 8:53 a.m.
Thank you very much. And a former member of this school committee, when discussing his own subcommittee, used to describe it as the hardest working subcommittee. I'm not going to ask him for a motion to apply that to policy, but I think it is pretty clear that policy is currently the hardest working subcommittee.
Actually, it's just following up by resources,
No,
which has their own job to do.
Yes, but thank you to the subcommittee and especially to Ms. Cormier for the tireless work that is going into making sure that our policy is updated and modernized and meeting our needs. So thank you.
Thank you.
And that brings us to a subcommittee that will be vying for hardest working subcommittee, our Resources and Capital Planning Subcommittee.
All
Ms.
right,
Crowley.
we did convene, Mr. Chair, on 1/19/2024. David Dunkley, Dr. Matt Crowley, myself, Ms. Wetzel, Mr. Mulrennan, and Ms. Chisholm made a special guest star appearance at the beginning. I'll start with the big ticket item. We took the issue of the graduation date to resources, considering Mr. Dunkley was there and Fields folks have a stake in this. So we asked the administration for rationale as to why the proposed graduation date is May 31st, 2024. And it's because it is the culmination of senior week and all of the activities occurred during that preceding week, and so it would end with graduation being on Friday, May 31st, 2024. So we voted 3-0 to endorse administration's plan for graduation to be held on May 31st, 2024. So I'm bringing that to the full committee, and I'll make a motion that the school committee as a whole approve or endorse administration's plan to have senior graduation for Woburn High School on May 31st, 2024, with a rain date of June 1st.
Second.
Any discussion on that motion? Seeing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, the ayes have it. So graduation will be set on May 31st with a rain date on June 1st. Thank you very much for that.
Thank you. So Resources is also closely monitoring the rollout of the feasibility study and what to do next. The second part, step 2 of the feasibility study, is to convene a building committee in collaboration with the city. So it's a three-part, really, project between the city council, school committee, and the mayor's office. And so the mayor has asked us to solicit parent involvement in the building committee. So Resources was kind of discussing ways in which we could reach out to parents. So at this point, I think that Resources would like for the chair to send out some level of communication to the community and try to solicit interest of 2 parents to serve on the building committee, which will make recommendations to the decision makers on the feasibility study. So we were thinking that maybe the chair could reach out and ask some questions to parents about their interest in wanting to be on the committee, which will be a lot of work, completely unpaid, but very, very, very important. And so we would like you to do that. So I'll make a motion that the school committee direct the chair to work with administration to reach out to the community to get parent involvement with the ad hoc building committee to be formed by the city council, school committee, and mayor's office.
Second.
All right, thank you. Any discussion on that motion? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
The other pieces is that we do want teacher involvement. We want not teacher, but educator involvement in the building committee. At least the mayor, sort of this space that's created between the mayor and the school committee is what we want this building committee to be. And one of the things we do want an educator representative. We want a CPAC representative. And so you can also work on that too.
I'll take care of it. Any other jobs you want to give me?
Running.
Can I just, how many people do you plan on having on this committee?
If I may.
Oh, yes.
So in discussions with the mayor, I think a cap at no more than 15 is ideal. I mean, it's hard to go too far below that number, considering we are going to have a couple of members of the school committee, a couple of members of city council, representative of the administration, parents, community members, and representatives of City Hall. So that's a pretty large crew that we're starting with, plus making sure that we have WTA, educator representatives, CPAC representatives as well. So I think we're going to wind up in the neighborhood of 13, 14, 15.
Just don't get too big, because then it's impossible to get
Yep.
anything done.
That
in one
is
meeting.
why we, I think, have a hard cap at 15.
Yeah, I mean, we did building committees before, there was 8, and that was even very difficult.
Ms. Chisholm, I really appreciate those remarks.
Yeah.
I think that the idea is to just make it as transparent as
Right,
possible,
right.
and perhaps it will whittle down into a
Yeah.
really smaller working group. But I think the mayor's vision and the school committee's vision is to try to get as many people in the room, at least at first,
Yeah.
and then, make a plan going forward. And so just a reminder to the committee and to the community that this is going to be an ad hoc, publicly recognized body who don't have actually decision-making, but they're going to be making recommendations to the people that do have the decision-making, such as us. So thank you for taking that action, committee members. The next issue is space. So as we saw, the rising number of enrollment and 200-something children, which is the size of an elementary school, the administration has informed the Resources Subcommittee that space is becoming a concern. Not necessarily space within classrooms, but classrooms in buildings. And the elementary school is starting to feel some pressure with regards to space. So that is going to be something that the feasibility study and the building committee will be looking at. And we're not really ready to talk about any specific options yet at this point, but we will be. The superintendent did suggest that we reconvene the space task force, which was a meeting with the building commissioner to look at another meeting, to look at building in the community and new construction, which will help at least forecast even additional enrollments that we might be seeing in the city. But I do want the members to know that space is an issue, and it's starting to feel a little urgent. So the administration wanted to keep the committee updated in that regard. The Shamrock, as we know, needs a new roof. And Mr. Dunkley is very transparent with us that he's at this point chasing leaks with the shamrock roof. We have communicated to the city. They are aware. I can't really report anything any action that they're planning to take, but they are aware that we need $2.6 million appropriation for a new roof. And I gave you a breakdown from Danisco as to what the costs generally are, and it's 1.9 for the roof, and then an additional 500, 600,000 for soft costs, which is the architect and the other things, the OPM. Anyway, so that is the cost, the roof at the Shamrock.
And just to sort of add on to that, in preliminary discussions with both the mayor and city council president, they are certainly very well aware of the issue and are discussing how we can move forward with that.
Yes.
It is on the radar, very much.
Thank you. I didn't want to represent anything, like, it's on the agenda next week. I didn't have that information from. There was a question to the Resources Committee about the city side hiring a director of facilities because there's an open position on the city, but no action was taken. It was basically a very hypothetical discussion about what would it be like if the city hired a facilities person. So I don't really have anything more to add to that. If the mayor has a vision to hire someone that could help the public school system, we would be all ears, but at this point there's no action was taken. So that concludes my minutes, Mr. Chair. I'll be answering any questions the members may have.
Any questions from Ms. Crowley? So I will move forward as directed by the committee to send communication to the public. I believe Resources did sort of put out a list of potential questions.
Yes.
Yeah.
Would you like me to?
I don't think it's necessary. It will be going out fairly broadly. But I will get the ball rolling on getting those out to the public as soon as possible. I'm also going to send a communication to the mayor and city council president to invite them to designate people to participate in this committee as well. And I am going to go ahead and appoint, thank you, those of you who expressed interest in the building committee. I'm going to appoint Ms. Crowley and Mrs. Chisholm to that committee to sort of represent the school committee as we move forward with this. So thank you both for your willingness, and thanks to the other members who expressed interest as well. Appreciate it. If there is nothing further there, no? Okay. And that brings us finally to Student Services and Achievement. Ms. Wetzel.
Thank you. Yes, so we met on January 19th, and in attendance were Dr. Crowley, Miss Maureen Ryan, Miss Courtney Young, Miss Pat Chisholm, Miss Ellen Crowley, and myself. And our first topic was an update from Miss Ryan, and she talked that it might be helpful to have our Director of Multilingual Learners, Ms. Caldwell, attend meetings during the budget season. She also updated us on out-of-district placements for 2023-2024. Administration has been meeting weekly with the city as well as Woburn Public School leadership team to build the budget. And to note, tiered focus monitoring is now called focus monitoring. And many multilingual learners, or ML learners, are in special education. The Department of Elementary and Secondary Education, or DESE, is looking at all ML students in special education to work on an identification process. And next up was a thank you from Dr. Crowley. He thanked Ms. Ryan and Ms. Young for all the effort and hard work they put in around the District Curriculum Accommodation Plan, or DCAP. And next topic was a need for more classrooms and space. So we discussed creative solutions to add more classrooms to our elementary schools. So the Resources Subcommittee, which met right after, also discussed that issue. And lastly, topic was CPAC update. Ms. Cotton, she was not in attendance, but she did provide an update via email that the CPAC meeting was scheduled for January 29th. So that was on Monday at 7 p.m. and that was a virtual meeting. And future topics, we would like to develop goals and long-term agenda items between administration, CPAC, and school committee. And we adjourned at 9:28 a.m. And our plan to meet will be the third Friday of every month, except for next month due to school vacation. We'll be meeting the 9th instead of the 16th at 8:45 a.m.
Thank you very much for that. All right, so that brings us to correspondence. I did have several pieces of correspondence. I believe I forwarded them all or made sure that they were all with the committee. Ms. Allison Bennett sent us concerns earlier in the month regarding the early dismissal at the Kennedy. The email was addressed by Kennedy Principal Mr. Nelson. Lori McLeod invited city officials to an informational session on the COVID vaccine. Diane Cinto reached out to us regarding implementation of the safe storage resolution we passed last year. I know Dr. Crowley responded to that. We taken care of?
I believe it's taken care of.
Perfect, thank you. And we received a couple of pieces of correspondence from Rachel Kuberry, one regarding space issues at the Harold Wyman, which has come up in terms of our discussion tonight, and is certainly something that we are looking closely at. And also, a communication that I forwarded earlier today regarding subcommittee minutes, making sure that we are, meeting the needs in terms of the level of detail being provided on specific discussions, and making sure that documents that come up over the course of the meeting are either attached to or listed at our subcommittee minutes. So I thank Ms. Kuberry for bringing that up. Any other correspondence from members of the committee?
You want to include the package we got from SEAM this evening?
Yes, and that was the next thing.
Coming up? Okay.
Thank you.
Yep, so included in your packets tonight are an annual report, last year's from SEAM and FY25 budget. And so I included them as hard copies so that you could take a look and read. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out, and I'm happy to answer them.
Do you know, are these documents available online anywhere? In case the public is interested in whatever it may say.
Yeah, I can get them.
Thank you.
You mean, I'm sorry, the SEAM?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would assume that they
Yeah.
are. I'm just
Yeah.
not aware exactly.
Okay.
As well as Dr. Crowley serves on the SEAM board.
Exactly.
That's mentioned publicly, but
Right.
And thank you for doing that. Any other correspondence from members of the committee or members of the administration? All right. Future agenda items. I will say I have had discussions with CPAC. We are looking to bring them into an upcoming meeting, so that's on the docket as well.
did you have to change the next meeting? Was it going to be the 13th?
As far as I know, it's the 13th. Is there a
You had
need?
concerns, huh?
I might have had one, but now I don't.
Okay.
So
I
we're
knew
good.
there was one
Yes.
mentioned before, so all right, that's fine.
There was a whisper of one, and it is dissipated, so we're all set.
Okay. You're not going to Disney or
I'm
Woburn or-
not to my knowledge, no.
Okay, that's work. All right, thank you.
Maureen Willis from the foundation?
Yes, that she is. I believe next meeting.
Yeah, I've been in touch with her. She's ready, willing, and able to come anytime.
Awesome. Thank you.
28.
Yes.
I know we're probably going to do this anyways, but I'd love to see any outcomes from the literacy initiatives. I know.
On the list.
I know.
No, it's great.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you very much for that. All right. We have no need for executive session tonight, correct?
Correct.
So I will accept a motion to
Motion to
adjourn.
adjourn.
Second.
Motion to adjourn.
All in favor?
Aye.
Fantastic. Any opposed? All right. Thank you very much.
You told me that you were going to oppose every single motion.
I can't.